warming her up, making sure everything's strapped down right, everything's working right. What's up YouTube? What's up Hammerheads? Vanhammer HP, Craig coming at you. Alright, so we got a good day today. We're taking Racy Lacey. She's gonna get her first dyno, okay? And so this is the I guess the test for our budget build. Our budget build is done. So we're gonna take her to the dyno, get some dyno numbers, see what we got. Real quick, let's just go over what we got here. First performance mod was K&N air filter. Second mod we went Hpipes. Performance mod number 3, gotta get a tune. We went with Palm Beach Dyno. We went with 2 tunes, the 91 octane. Of course we went E85. We did the cat delete. Next then we went BMR, vertical links, and the performance lowering springs from BMR. Now, what does that get you? Well, we're about to find out. We're gonna take her to the dyno, put her on the dyno, see what our rear wheel horsepower numbers come out to be. And I don't know, I'm kind of, just with what I've seen and what I've read about everything, I'm really hoping for about 480, if we're real lucky 485. A lot of these guys go in cold air intake with the same tune and tuner, cold air intake headers, resonator delete. They're getting between 495 and 500. So I know I'm going to be a little restrictive there with the air filter and the headers, you know, on not having that done to Racy Lacey. But I want to really see what the difference is on that. So let's get her to the dyno and see what she's got. All right, here we go, guys. This is going to be the budget build ultimate test here. We're finally getting her set up on a dyno. Let's see what numbers. She is on the E85 today. That's the numbers we're gonna get for that tune. We've been waiting a while for this. Unfortunately, the other company that I was gonna do the dyno with kind of fell through, but we're here at Complete Auto Repair. It's their Slide location. We're gonna see what they can do for us. Woo, looking pretty up there. They do have a Mustang dyno. They're getting her hooked up, getting her strapped down. They gotta back her up onto the dyno. We'll see what she can put out for us. Ooh, got a little Maserati sitting up there. Little Beamer right beside it. Yeah, you can see right there, that's what we're talking about. It's got the Mustang dynometer. I'm a little nervous and excited. Let's see how our hard work is gonna pay off here. Just warming her up, making sure everything's strapped down right, everything's working right. Like we're looking good. Man, I kind of feel like I'm up on stage or something. I'm nervous, a little nervous. Come on, girl, you can do it. Here we go. Oh, it's gonna be a test. They did the pull to 7,200 RPMs. The guy there just said he didn't think that it was going to get any more. He could hear the motor and he didn't want to stress it. I already forgot the horsepower number, but I think it was 415 rear wheel, which sounds real low to me. But he said it is a Mustang dyno, and the Mustang dynos would typically read about 15% less. So, I don't know. We're here, we're getting some numbers. At least if I bring it back to the same place every time, we'll know. Anyway, they're gonna start the second pool here. Time, holy Jesus, that's loud. But that time they pulled it at about 6,800 RPMs. They pulled it, so he feels like it's gonna hit its peak maximum horsepower at 6,800. I don't know. We'll send he's gonna give the graphs and everything to me. We'll send it off to Palm Beach and see what they say.
17, but you can see how it kind of just flatlines, you know what I'm saying?
So what, it was 417? That's about 6,800 RPMs?
Yeah, that was 6,800 RPM, 417.
370 torque.
And I can smooth that out. I've got it on a fairly coarse, you know. See how that? But I put what they call a filter on there, and it gives you a prettier graph.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's smooth it out.
Yeah. So it's there. I mean, that's a solid pull. And the good thing is he doesn't have any real problems in your tune because it's relatively. You can see where your car dipped a little bit right there.
Yeah.
Your torque dipped right there. Now that could be something that they could possibly tweak and work on just a little bit. So. There's something within, but now that you'll have this data, you'll know at 5,000 RPM to roughly 5,800, there's an anomaly happening that they can try to smooth it and line it out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So dynos don't lie. They break hearts, but they don't lie. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we got a little explanation there for it. I still think we could go a little harder, but he's playing it on the safe side, so which I'm not. With this being the first time it's ever been on the dyno and running, I'm not too worried about it, I guess. Here we go.
You were 417 right there.
Well, it sounded like it was a smoother pull too.
Yeah, and it actually, you can take a picture of that. It actually made 423, but because I got the smoothing on, I've taken some of those peaks and valleys out. But yeah, that one, it actually liked it. But if you look at the trace graph, your hump's not as pronounced as it was. But looks good. Looks good. So
okay,
we'll do one more and then
one more. Okay, Casey's warmed up a little bit, so. We hit a peak of 423 on that. I still think she's got some more in her, but God, man, she is loud though, especially in this garage.
I can overlay all of them on there if you want to see those. Okay, so it data logs every time that we did it. So the last three, so that's what you've currently got on there. So I'll put that one on there as run 2. And let's do the third one. But they're virtually mirror image. That one had a little dip there. The other two did not. One was 413, one was 417, one was 412. That's with the smoothing on it. That one made 422. So the motor solid, tune solid, you know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, so that's what we got. We had a peak horsepower of around 422 or 423, but looks like we were 417 was the highest there on the graph. He said everything looked good. He seemed like the graph lines were smooth, so that means that the tune is pretty good. Considering we're dealing with you know, a tune over email, and this is the first time this has been on the dyno. It hadn't been on the dyno for Palm Beach Dyno to tune it up and everything. So I don't know. We'll have to look into that a little bit, the Mustang Dyno, and he's saying that the Mustang Dyno usually reads about 15% less than a jet dyno, which even then, think about 15%, that would be about, that would put us in that range around, you know, 470 to 480, which is what I was kind of expecting on the E85 tune. So anyway, what it does do though is gives me some base numbers for the budget build. That way, if we do any more mods and we bring it back, at least I can see that there's an increase there, or you know, things are getting better, or we're getting more power and things like that. That's what we got. We're gonna send those graphs off to Palm Beach Dyno, have them take a look at it, see if they come back and say anything on them, and I'll give you an update on that when we get that information. But okay, back from the dyno. So initially, maybe I was a little disappointed in the numbers, but I didn't totally understand everything that was happening. That's my first dyno experience. So if you take into account the 15%, which I don't like doing this because I want the piece of paper that says it, bam. But if you take into account the 15%, I think our highest horsepower was 417 on the dyno. So, you know, you say 10% of that is 41, take half of that is another 20. You're looking at 61 more horsepower on top of the 417, and you're looking at 478. So that's really close to the number which I thought I was, or that I wanted to be, and where I thought we would be, which was around the 480 mark. I also would like that the rear wheel horsepower. That's hard to say. I would still like that number so that I'm on the same page and I'm using the same thing other YouTubers are using out there as far as getting that data and getting those numbers, instead of saying, well, that's about 15% different, so I'm really about 478. Well, am I though? I don't know. So, but anyway, I do know this: Racy Lacey's fast, and she's loud. She was loud in that garage. It was a cool experience nonetheless. It was a good learning experience. I did learn this, and I'm gonna send them off to Palm Beach. I'm gonna copy and email the paperwork that they sent to me. The graphs did look good. They were fairly smooth, and I think that's good for just getting an emailed tune without actually it being on the dyno at Palm Beach and them tuning it. And even the guy that was reading the dyno and stuff said, your tune's good. Like, he could see in the graph that the tune was good. So he was appreciative of that, and he actually was quite impressed with what the Mustang was doing. So anyway, I'm happy. Overall, I'm happy. I know she's fast. I know she's got some power behind her. I just wish I had that real number. All right, so we're going to take a look at these graphs here just real quick. I forgot about the paperwork, so let's just go over that just real quick. This is all three runs put together, and you can see really besides this little hiccup that we had right here, but even after that, it goes up in here and runs right along the line. Looks like the first and last run were right on top of each other. So, and a pretty smooth line there that shows that for an email tune, that's probably not that bad. Here was the first run, 921. You can see we maxed out 413 horsepower, 363 torque. Again, that's at around 6,800 RPMs. And basically what the guy was telling me is that you can see how it kind of plateaued off there, or was starting to plateau off there, and so that's why he decided to cut it at 6,800 RPMs. The second run was the one where we had the little hiccup here, little drop there, and then also there's kind of a dip in here, but we also ran 418 horsepower, 464, again at the 6,800 RPMs. And then the last one here was pretty much identical to the first run, 363 torque, 413 horsepower, and we do have this little dip there in the mid 5,000 range, beginning to mid 5,000 RPM range. Little dip there in horsepower on the higher end, around 6,300 or so. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that. Alright guys, coming back at you just real quick. I wanted to give an update over our dyno numbers. So here's a shout out to Palm Beach Dyno. Even today, they're dealing with weather and stuff for the approaching hurricane and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's an electronic message or whatever, but I'm sure they got bigger things on their mind. But as soon as I got home, uploaded the graphs, pictures of the graphs, sent them to Palm Beach Dyno, and I'm talking about within an hour, I had a reply. So Palm Beach Dyno came back and pretty much said that not to worry, that the data and everything is good. They confirmed that the numbers were good. They confirmed that the graphs looked good and the tune looked good based off the graphs they showed. I did mention the little hiccup there in the one graph, and that was not addressed in the reply email back to me, and probably because I didn't data log, so they can't really attest to what that was. Anyway, when they did respond, they figured the difference between the Mustang Dyno and the Dyno Jet at 12%. So he took my max horsepower reading, which was 418 that we got, and he said at 12%, that's 475 rear wheel horsepower that he was figuring that Racy Lacy would have dynoed at on a Dyno Jet, which would give you those high numbers. So that's what we're looking at, and I'm happy with that, because that's where I wanted to be. That's where I thought we would be. I wanted 480 to 485. I knew that was pushing it, but 475 to 480, depending on your given day, the quality of E85 that you're getting, and all that good stuff. I'm happy with 475. Remember, we only spent $1,500 on this, and to be honest with you, 290, 280 of that wasn't even power upgrades. That was the suspension mods to help you put the power down. So even if you take that away, you're looking less than $1,500. You're looking at around $1,200, $1,250 that you could spend on power mods, and you could be getting 475 to the wheel, and that's crazy. There you have it, 475. Still, I hate doing the percentage configuration. I still would just like to have a reading of 475 and put it on paper, but like I said, we got to go with what we got here, and you know, we'll have to do the math to see what that equates to, or what it might equate to on a Dyno Jet. Naturally aspirated 2019 Mustang GT PP1 with K&N air filter in the factory box, CAD delete, resonator delete, E85 tune from Palm Beach Dyno on an N-Gauge. Alright, so on that note, like always, drop the hammer. Peace.
Do it.